welcome. It's Facebook Live Friday. I'm here today to talk about just what I've shared in my live 3-part workshop this week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on sustainable weight loss. And I want to talk a little bit more again about the mistakes that we make when it comes to sustainable weight loss and dieting. If you missed my 3-part workshop this week, make sure that you check it out here on my Karma Chow page. It's under my video tab. You'll see all 3 videos. So the first day I talked all about the 5 mistakes people make when losing weight or keeping weight off, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that today. I also talked about on day 2 the 3 keys that you can implement when you find yourself spiraling about food, obsessing about food, stuck in kind of a weird craving spot where you feel like you're going to binge. So there's really great information there. And the last day I talked all about the mindset and how shifting our mindset and looking at our belief system is so important when we are shifting our relationship to food. And so please check that out. It's all great information. The trainings are between 20 to 30 minutes, so make sure you carve some time out of your day to watch those. I give a lot of great information totally free that a lot of it I share with my clients who pay a lot of money to work with me, and there's just so much great free information. And on day 3, I also share how you can deepen in the work and what you can do to actually take those steps further. So make sure you catch that. It's all right here on my Karma Chow page. So today, I just wanted to kind of touch on this topic again of sustainable weight loss and why people really struggle with keeping weight off, and, what are the things that we're doing that are really preventing us from keeping weight off. And, one of those top things is to continue to diet and stay in the dieting mindset. That is one of the key reasons why people struggle with keeping weight off long term. So we all know that a diet will create short-term weight loss, right? A lot of us have been on diets. I know I've been on them. I know I've done the restriction thing. I know I've done the deprivation thing. And it always ended up back in the same place with the weight that I lost back on my body, feeling like a failure, feeling completely disappointed, and feeling so deprived that I actually pendulum swung to the other side. And I basically went off the rails, if you will. Excuse me. And so that's really why dieting is the #1 mistake that people make when it comes to sustainable weight loss, because we all know that we can't deprive ourselves long term. We all know that we can't diet long term and that it's not sustainable. And so what's really important is that you find a way of eating that feels really good for you personally. So I've been running my Food Freedom Group program. It's a 12-week live group program, and we are on the tail end of it, and it's been really, really powerful. And one of the participants in the group program, she feels really confused because there's so much conflicting information out there, and she's struggling with diabetes and all of these other things. And she emailed me and said, I'm so confused because I literally listened to 2 experts talk about diabetes and talk about the diet that we should be on for diabetes, and they were the exact opposite diets. So one was like high complex carb, low fat. The other one was no carbs, high fat, right? And so this is why we all get so freaking confused, because there's so much information out there. We don't know which way to turn. A lot of us are looking for the quick fix. A lot of us just want to be healthy, but the diet world is so ingrained in our minds that we get lost and we get confused. And so dieting is really the biggest mistake when it comes to long-term sustainable weight loss. What is the most powerful thing you can do is start to shift your mindset, look at your belief system, and trust your body. And most of us have no idea how to do that. And that's really the work I do with my clients, is teaching them how to attune to their bodies, listen to their bodies, and shift the relationship to food so that food is not running them. It's not controlling them. That they are in a place of choice and empowerment when it comes to food and eating. So a lot of you know my story, I spent so many years stuck in this vicious spiral with food. I spent a lot of years hating my body, and that's what really sparked my dysfunctional relationship with food, which ultimately started with myself and my belief about myself. And so through that whole process, my biggest awakening was that the struggles that I had nothing to do with the food at all. The food was just the symptom of something deeper. I know you guys have heard me talk about this before, and it's really hard to know where to start or like how you even change your mindset. And so what I'm offering to you is come into my Food Freedom Breakthrough group. It's a free private group here on Facebook. I do trainings all the time. I share a lot of great information. It's a place where you can get support and learn how you can start to shift your mindset. And I offer all these great workshops. I did this three-part training this past week. Please catch that. It's here on my Facebook page in the video section. But it's really important for us to start to look at where does my belief system start around food? What are the habits that I've picked up along the way that don't necessarily serve me? Like eating just because it's lunchtime, even if I'm not hungry, or cleaning my plate because I'm part of the Clean the Plate Club that my parents, always said, there's starving children in Africa, so make sure you eat everything on your plate, right? And so that's become so ingrained in us and become a habit, and so we just do it automatically. It's our default, right? And so we want to start to look at where our blind spots are, how we can shift out of default mode and create new neural pathways into healthier habits. So I believe that rituals become habitual. And so starting with rituals is a really powerful way to start to shift your mindset. And maybe that's just one thing a day that you do every day that is a ritual. And one of those things that I do that really became a habit, ritual, habitual, was learning how to sit down at the table and eat without distraction. It literally changed my relationship to food. It changed the way I felt about food. I was someone who hated eating, who feared food because I thought I would get fat, or I thought that every calorie I put in my body would put weight on my body. And so I really feared eating. And I got to a point where I was obsessing so much about food that I didn't even want to eat anymore. It felt like a burden. And now I have such a different experience with food because I actually love to eat. I love to sit down. I love to savor the food. I love to have the experience. And so the one thing that you can practice, ritual, habitual, sit down at least one meal per day and eat without distraction. What this does is it attunes you to your body. It helps you slow down because we're all in a freaking rush today. We're all so busy. None of us have time to eat. None of us have time to do, these things that we feel like are a waste of time, or we feel like, let me just rush through it. It's so detrimental to your body to eat in a rush because it puts your body in a physiological state of stress. Your digestion doesn't work properly. You can't absorb nutrients properly. It's just not good for your body. And so if you can sit down and eat without distraction and really connect to the experience of eating, enjoy your food, chew your food, put your fork down, look around, really take in what's happening, I guarantee you'll eat a whole lot less than you normally do. You'll feel satisfied a lot sooner. You'll be more attuned to your body. You'll be able to listen and hear those satisfaction cues, and it will change your experience. Now, here's something that comes up when people try this, because most people do not eat without distraction, and it's really hard. Like, I even remember as a kid sitting down, eating my morning cereal with the cereal box in front of me and needing to read everything on the cereal box, right? Because we're not taught that we can just be. We have to be doing something all the time, right? We get uncomfortable when we're not doing something because what happens? We start to feel things, and a lot of us don't like to feel things. And so food then becomes the way we push down our feelings, or distracting ourselves becomes the way we don't look at our feelings. And so this doesn't mean that you're going to have a lot of feelings come up if you eat without distraction. What it means is that you're going to start to attune more to what's happening in your body. And maybe, just maybe, you'll start to recognize, why do I always go toward food at certain times of the day? Like, why am I eating way more than I need to be eating? Why am I feeling full all the time after lunch? Like, why am I feeling uncomfortable? Why do I, you'll start to answer these questions when you start to slow down. So it's a really, really powerful process to be able to sit for at least one meal a day, slow down, enjoy your food, connect to your body. This is like a really, really powerful ritual that now has become my favorite part of the day. It really has. It's a time I look forward to. I set the table, I get out my pretty placemat, I just set everything up. I always plate my food. Even if I'm eating a snack, I put it in a bowl or on a plate. That's super important. The other trick is start smaller. Like a lot of us, our eyes are bigger than our stomach, or we're starving and we feel like we need all this food. But the truth is our bodies don't need most of the food that we put on our plate. We think we do because it's habitual, but most of the time we don't. So I always start with like a smaller plate or a bowl. Unless I'm eating a salad, then it's like a huge vat because it's just a lot of greens, there's a lot of goodness there. But if it's something that's more hearty, I start small. And then I eat that and I wait and see how I feel. And if I need more, I'll get more. But more times than not, I would say 99% of the time, I don't need more. When I'm slowing down, when I'm being in the experience of eating, when I'm attuning to my body, I don't need more food. I feel really satisfied with what I've eaten every time, almost every time. Sometimes I'll be a little bit more hungry. Our bodies are always fluctuating. There's times of the month for women that they're more hungry. They need to eat more. There's days I need to intake more calories if I've exercised more. So there's a lot of different things that can be going on. But what this does is it really attunes you to your body, and it really attunes you to what you're needing. And it connects you to your food instead of food being this thing that's like a burden or, you know, an object outside of you. It really is nourishment. It's what keeps us alive. And so, you know, the number one mistake that people make when they're trying to lose weight and keep it off is dieting, right? So you want to create rituals that will take you away from dieting and create a more sustainable foundation for you to keep weight off of your body. Because the truth is, when most of us lose weight, we then have to fight to keep it off. We have to fight. I know that I always did. And then I was like constantly weighing myself and seeing how I felt in my clothes and looking in the mirror, like doing all of these crazy things that kept me stuck in the vicious cycle with all of it. And it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks because we're missing out on so much else, right? We're so hyper-focused on our bodies and our weight and all this stuff. It's like we're missing out on really living. I mean, it affected my relationships. It affected my social life. It really affected so many areas of my life, how I showed up in my business. I mean, I couldn't fully show up because I was always in the back of my mind worried about my body and how it felt, and it was heavy, and there was just always something going on. And then I was worried about, what am I going to eat? Am I going to be good? Is it going to be like, I was just always obsessing. And so I missed out on so much living, right? And so that's where dieting puts us, you know, and there's a lot of programs out there that, you know, believe in abstinence and believe in this restriction. And I think that it ends up leaving us worse off than we were in a lot of ways, because I really believe that, you know, it's not food addiction. It really is something else that's driving us to the addiction, right? Like when we're addicted to something, we have to look at, well, why are we addicted to it? Like, what is it that we're getting from that thing? And with food, it's hard because we can't ever give up eating, right? It keeps us alive. I mean, could you imagine being addicted to water? No. But like, it's just interesting because the food industry, with all the processed food and all the things that are available to us now, all the health foods, all the diets, it keeps the insanity going, right? I mean, back in the caveman days, nobody was on a diet. They're just eating to survive and eating to nourish and eating to thrive, right? That's ultimately what we want to be doing. Eating to thrive, eating to survive, eating to nourish your body. But we can't do that when we're so disconnected because we're listening to all of this, you know, dieting stuff. And like, you have to only eat, you know, keto diet or only eat vegan diet or only eat, right? It's like, then we're not listening to our bodies and we're not building trust. And so one of the key ways you build trust is through sitting down, connecting to your food, connecting to your body, right? Making these choices, slowing down. That's one of the ways you build trust with your body. I have so many more ways that you can build trust with your body. And, I use all of these tools with my private clients. And if this is something that you really want to take further, like I offer so much information and I put it into a system so that my clients can really take it forward into their life, have sustainable weight loss, transform their relationship to food. All of these things are part of my one-on-one coaching that I do with my clients. It's really, really powerful work. If you have any interest in that, and I hope you do because it's really life-changing, you can email me at missy@karmachow.com or go to my website, karmachow.com. You can learn all about it there. And you can set up a time to talk with me for free just to really understand what's going on. And there's spaces there available. It's under free chat. And we can just get on the phone. There's no obligation. Just get on the phone, talk about where you're struggling, and talk about what are the steps that you need to take for yourself. So that's what I'm sharing today. Biggest mistake when it comes to sustainable weight loss, dieting, right? I want you to start to think about that, how you relate to food, where you have a lot of rules, where you're stuck in the dieting mindset. Make sure you check out my blog. I write a lot about overeating, binging, all of that, how we can really break out of these cycles. So thanks for joining me today, you guys. I'll see you back here next Friday. Again, check out my website, my Food Freedom Breakthrough Group. Really great place to get support. There's a lot of other people in there that are struggling with the same things. And I have live trainings and all kinds of great information. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. Remember, no dieting. Start to think about what it would look like if you stopped dieting. Start to think about it, and just imagine. I know there's probably a part of you that's like, oh my God, I'll get out of control. That's because we don't trust ourselves. So you have to really learn to trust yourself. So thanks for joining me. I'll leave you all with that. What does that mean? Take one step. All right, guys, have a great weekend. I'll see you back here next Friday. Don't forget, check out my website, karmachow.com. Check out my Food Freedom page. Lots of great people, lots of great connections, lots of great support. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.